And because we spent so much time alone, we spent so much time away from the traditional family structure and what builds the bonds of the traditional family structure, like, father, mother, children together, dinner together, vacations together, talk and have fun and watch movies and whatever the case might be. Because we lacked that so greatly, we developed family structures outside of that family structure, and we valued them. Let me speak for me. Valued those friendships, valued those circles in a way that is unmatched. Family, welcome, welcome, welcome back. Welcome home. You have found your tribe here at the Road to Restoration podcast. And I'm glad to see you again. The greatest journey that's ever been taken starts with one step, but this is episode 3. So 3 steps is always better than one. I got a wonderful and amazing substantive conversation that I want to have tonight, and I'm hoping you're ready for it. Like always, I'm gonna be extremely transparent, open, honest, and it might even hurt a little bit, but we're gonna get through it together. You want to go somewhere fast, go by yourself. You want to go somewhere far, we got to go together. So I'm gonna need y'all to walk this journey with me as I take, as I take the scab off of these wounds today. I want to focus my conversation around this subject: the seed of loyalty. The seed of loyalty. And uh, it sounds real wonderful, but let me tell you where it comes from. Fatherlessness taught me that loneliness leads to loyalty. Loneliness leads to loyalty. And I know the connection between those two might not sound obvious, and it might not even sound true. You might feel like I'm tripping. Like, how does loneliness lead to loyalty? How are those two even in the same conversation? But I'm gonna tell you, loneliness leads to loyalty, and here's the reality: you can be loyal to the wrong thing. You can be loyal to the wrong person. Some people are loyal to people that ain't loyal to them. Hear me when I tell you this. I'm trying to have a heart to heart with you. And you can't trust everybody that can trust you. That's a heavy one. When you come from a space where you've learned how to survive a fatherless experience, um, fatherless sons, fatherless daughters, children who grew up with fatherless experiences are usually some of the most loyal people you will ever find. And I want to talk about how that happens. First of all, let me say this, because I make it very clear I am intentional about prioritizing black men. I'm intentional about focusing my efforts, my thoughts, my prayers, in every episode on the restoration, the journey of healing, reaching toward wholeness for black men. But I don't want you to get it twisted. I don't think that this conversation is unique to black men. I don't think there are a lot of spaces that speak directly to black men, and so that's why the road to restoration exists. But I do believe that a lot of our conversations, we need to have them out loud, because I believe that more than just black men are affected by it. And I want to throw one. I want to throw one situation out there that I know was affected by my fatherlessness in a way that was unique to her. And the truth is, my mama. My mama was superwoman. I said there's a whole chapter in my book that I dedicate to my mother. And the title of that chapter is "My Mama Was Superwoman." And y'all know, if you're a part of the Patreon tribe, you know that we really we follow an intentional schedule with each episode, and those episodes are tied very closely to the theme and the chapters of the book, The Fatherless Son. Um, but I'm kind of detouring from that scheduled place because I want to talk about my mama a little bit today. I want to not only talk about my mama. Don't get mad at me, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Don't cuss at me in the comments. But I want to talk about your mama today. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about your mama. Matter of fact, let me take a sip of this Jesus juice. Give me a little more courage to talk about your mama. My mama was superwoman. My mother had 3 to 4 jobs for as long as I can remember. She literally worked herself to sleep. Um, we didn't have loneliness led to loyalty. That's our focus today. We didn't have family time. We didn't have family time. Like, we didn't come together to eat dinner together. We didn't have family outings where my mama take us to the park, or take us to this, that, or the other. We didn't go on vacations. We didn't have vacations, and like I told you, I think maybe in the first episode I told you that I growing up, I used to think if you had an upstairs and a driveway, you was rich. So we didn't have a lot of the amenities that my kids um, maybe don't even fully appreciate. We just didn't have those opportunities because my mama was working. She worked, and I'm talking about to the extent she sacrificed everything that she could to make sure that we had shelter. Notice I didn't say everything we needed. She sacrificed everything she could to make sure we had shelter. Her 3, 4 job sacrifice didn't give us everything we needed. Literally, my entire childhood, for the most part, something was off. We never Rarely did we get the bliss of everything being on at the same time. Like, we got lights and heat and water. Wasn't no internet back then. What else we got? And food in the refrigerator. Oh man, we got food and lights and heat. Uh, uh, uh and we never had AC, but water, like all at the same time. Like, I could take a hot shower with the lights on. Like, that wasn't, it's comical to me today, but that wasn't my story. For the most part, something was usually off, but it wasn't because she wasn't giving her all. It wasn't because not only was she giving her all, she was giving her all plus some more. That's why I say my mama was superwoman. She sacrificed. I'm telling you, like, I don't remember her ever buying anything for herself. I don't remember her buying nothing for herself. And some people might hear me talk about, like, how, when I was 10 years old, I started cutting my hair because, I couldn't afford to go to no barber shop or nothing like that. And I started cutting my hair basically because somebody told me I couldn't. So I was, in my people's basement, and guy, he probably 2, 3 years older than me. He cutting everybody's hair, and I'm watching him. I always been artistic. If I see it, I can create it. And I'm watching him cutting hair, and for some reason I just blurted out, "Man, I could do that." And he hit me with the, "Nah, you can't do this. It ain't as easy as it look, and it's more to it, and I make it look good, and all that stuff." And so I said, "Okay, well, when it's my turn, let me do it." And that was the first time I cut my hair. I mean, I didn't, it wasn't fried and dyed and laid to the side, but it was solid. It was solid. I didn't mess up. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't trash either. And from that day forward, it was like, man, a light bulb went out. Like, okay, like I can have a haircut. I can keep a haircut. And so I was cutting my hair, and by the time I was in the sixth grade, I was cutting everybody in the neighborhood. And I had got so good. That's back when you used to use a double-sided razor. You had to push it in the middle to make sure you had control. Yeah, I'm putting names in people's head, drawing stuff in their hair, all kind of stuff. And I'm doing all of that for $2 a haircut. I would cut hair on my mama back porch. I was cutting hair. I turned my mama basement into my barber shop. I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. I'm cutting grown men, and my mom, they coming in and out. Like I'm selling the most potent dope. They coming in and out, getting haircuts at my mama house. My mama ain't even home, right? Um, and I was doing that, and by the time I was in the sixth grade, I was buying my own school clothes. And people hear me say stuff like that, and they might think like, man, how you sixth grade buying your own school clothes? Like, what kind of mother? What kind of parent? What kind of? And they just don't know. Like I don't remember her buying something for herself. I don't remember her spending money on herself. I don't have that memory. Um, she sacrificed everything to make sure we had a shelter. Because another unique thing about my childhood, and some people that grew up like me, you'll know how valuable of a statement this is. I only lived in two places my whole childhood. I lived in Arlington Courts, which was the projects, and then we moved on up like the Jeffersons. In my mind, that's what we was doing, and we got into a two-bedroom house. Okay, with two-bedroom house at on Stewart Street, not far from the projects that we had just come from. But the neighbor, the neighborhood the house was in, it was just as much of a project as living in the projects. But it was still moving on up to us, and that was where I lived my whole childhood. So we didn't have to bounce around and move around a lot. We didn't always have lights. We didn't always have water. We didn't always have heat. We didn't always have all food. We didn't always have a lot of other necessities, but we at least had shelter. And why is that something that I'm focused on? Is because I wanna give explanation for why I grew up and didn't know my mama. Like I'm getting to know my mother now. Like I'm really kind of learning who she is as a person, learning the stuff she think is funny. So now I send her videos of dog videos, animal videos, and she will laugh until she cry. And I never knew that animals was anything that amused her. I don't have memory of having long, thoughtful conversations, um, spending time, substantive time together, because she always had to work. And when she wasn't at work, if she wasn't at work, she was asleep because she had to go to work. So when she was home, she still was unavailable. And I'm not saying that to say there was something wrong with her. This was the situation that she found herself in. And she done the best that she could do. And she done better than what many people would do in her shoes, which is why I say to this day, and I will always say, my mama was superwoman. But because my mama was superwoman, I didn't know my mama. I didn't get to know her. I didn't know her heart. I didn't know how she thought. I didn't know what made her cry. I didn't know what made her happy. I didn't know her. And she didn't know me. I love her. I always have. And I believe that obviously vice versa, or else her drive wouldn't have been what it was. But I didn't know her. And I'm learning her now. And that's a little challenging, you know. You know how it is when when you gotta raise your parents, they don't listen. Now we kind of at that stage where I'm trying to tell her stuff I think she should do, and she like, boy, sit down somewhere. And I'm her whole pastor now. And but she will definitely tell me, leave me alone. but I'm learning her, and I'm thankful that I have that opportunity. But listen to this: I was because my mama was always working. I was a latchkey kid, and if you a Gen Xer, I'm 46. I was born 1979. My kids tell me I was born in the 1900s, and that's their way of throwing shade. You know, they tell me I was born in the olden days. I just feel it's disrespectful, the kind of stuff they say to me. But that's what they say. I'm a Gen Xer. We the bridge generation, the last generation that grew up without the internet. You know, the last generation that knew adult life without social media. You know, that's who we are. We are old enough to be connected to the old school and understand the traditional values, but we're young enough to be connected to this new generation of people who are much more tech savvy and much more advanced in ways that you know uh, bloomers never would have even considered. So we're the bridge generation. We the generation in between the two, and you know, and so Gen Xers would know what I'm talking about when I say this. I'm a latchkey kid. So at about 6 or 7 years old, right around first or second grade, um, uh, because my mama was working, she put a string around my neck with the house key on it. Oh, let me take a sip of this Jesus juice because that's a little heavy. Because maybe you didn't hear me. Latchkey kids are the kids that were raised having to go to wake up in the morning when your parents ain't there. You got to wake up, 7, 8 years old. I think first grade is 6 years old. I was in the first grade as a latchkey kid, and so you wake up by yourself. If you got food at the house, make yourself something to eat by yourself. Get yourself together, clean yourself up, get dressed by yourself. Walk to the bus stop or walk to school by yourself. After school, you're going to walk home, let yourself in. If you got some food, you're going to make it by yourself. And you ain't going to, here's the one, here's the words. Now, if you ever heard this, if somebody had to tell you this, put it in the comments and don't let nobody in my house till I get home. I was a latchkey kid. So I was a little bitty boy, literally with a string around my neck with a house key on it. I would not imagine. I waited till I was 40 to have my son, so he's 6 right now. I ain't nowhere in the world I would put my house key around his neck and send him out into the world. Send that boy out into the world. I don't want to send him out the yard with a house key. I was walking to the park by myself. We would get on our bikes, ride miles away from home, no cell phone, just be in whole other areas of the world. Our mama didn't know. And 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And here's the thing. Um, as a latchkey kid, you had to make sure that even your siblings, now I'm older, you had to make sure that even your siblings was taken care of. And so I had a little sister that I had to take care of. So if we had food and I was making something to eat, I had to make sure that I fed her. And I had to make sure she got to school, whether we was walking or a bus or whatever the case might be. And because we spent so much time alone, we spent so much time away from the traditional family structure and what builds the bonds of the traditional family structure, like father, mother, children together, dinner together, vacations together, talk and have fun and watch movies and whatever the case might be. Because we lacked that so greatly, we developed family structures outside of that family structure, and we valued them. Let me speak for me. Valued those friendships, valued those circles in a way that is unmatched. Because I lacked familial camaraderie, my close friendships, those relationships, they meant the world to me. Like if I'm with you forever to the end. If I'm eating, you gonna eat. If you fighting, we gonna fight. Even if you wrong, I'm gonna fight with you. Now, if you wrong after we get done fighting and we get back, I'm gonna be like, man, stop doing that. You keep us out here fighting for no reason. But you know, that's a private conversation. But if you get into it, then I'm with you. Win, lose, or draw. Because I didn't have that close family unit. I yearned for it. I desired it so greatly. So I was, even before I was consciously aware of it, I was becoming what I wanted. So if you got me as a friend, you got a friend, you know. So, father, and y'all put this in the comments if you can relate to this. Men and women that grew up in fatherless experiences, they gonna be some of the most loyal. They gonna be the best friends. They gonna be the people that show up for you. They gonna be the people that stand 10 toes down for you. Them gonna be the people. They not gonna turn on you whether you right, wrong, indifferent. They gonna be the ones. You got me. Um, and that's what life became for me. And that's the way that I approached friendships. I don't have friends. You know, I got family, and my circle is extremely small. It's extremely small, and I'll protect it with everything I got, because everybody that's in that circle, I know let me say it this way. Everybody that's in that circle will never have to second guess if I'm really for them. And I had to change that because not everybody experiences life the same. And so not everybody develops the same tendencies. And so not everybody that I would go to bat for would in turn go to bat for me. There are people that I would fight for that they would not fight for me. If anything, they would be, let the right situation pop up, they'll fight against me. Um, and so when you have that lack of camaraderie due to fatherlessness, because the unintended consequences of a lack of a father in the home is usually, in many cases, the mother has to pick up the slack when it comes to providing, and in other areas. And because she has to be available in that way, she may not be able to be available in the way that a mother and nurturer normally would be. And so, because you aren't getting that from home, you recreate that in other family structures like gangs and cliques, friends, relationships, you name it. Sometimes it's vices, sometimes it's drugs. People find comfort and self-medicate in all kind of ways. And so one of the unintended consequences of that, one of the positive consequences of that, is that I'm an extreme loyalist. Um, Sometimes to a fault, but I'd rather be loyal to a fault than to not be loyal at all. And so, not only am I extremely loyal to the people that I love, I don't have friends, but I have family. But I also value what fathers add to the equation. And so, for the father figures that have come into my life and that have truly fathered me in different seasons of my life, I revere them, I honor them, I esteem them, I hold them in extremely high regard because I know the cost. Now, being a father, I know the cost of being present, being available, and being a father not only to my children, but I'm a pastor. I'm a community activist. I'm a uncle. I'm a big brother. I'm really just a guardian. And so I got a whole bunch of babies that ain't my babies. And so sometimes when I want to chill, I gotta be there for somebody who, if I was not there for them, nobody else would be. And so, because I know the cost, the men in my life who have stood up to be my father and to father me with integrity, those men gonna get nothing but respect, honor, and the greatest level of esteem from me for forever. I'm from the cloth of, at this point, you got to be loyal to the people that's loyal to you, and you got to be loyal to your future no matter what your past try to remind you, because sometimes you might be ready to leave your past and move on from your past, but that don't mean your past ready to move on from you. And so you've got to make the decision. Do I want to stay in this place? Because I could sulk over how I grew up. Basically, it was like when I was a little bitty boy, I was a little kid. It was like I had my own house. It was like I lived by myself, and I was taking care of my sister. It was like I was a grown up. So I can be mad about that. Like, why would I have to do all this? And why did I have to buy my own school clothes? And why did I have to, and I go next door, take my sister next door, act like I want to play. But I know they got cereal. And when I get over there, ask, see if I can get some cereal, and because we ain't got no food. Like I could be mad about all of these things, or I could appreciate how those things shaped me to be the kind of man that I am today. And that's what I choose to do. And so I can refer now to fatherlessness as a seed of loyalty. All it did was create a father so loyal that nothing, no circumstance, no problem, no trial, no obstacle could break me, stop me, or hinder me from showing up and being who I know I've been called to be. And that's a real life father in every way possible. So listen, I need y'all to join this tribe. I need y'all to join this journey. Let's move toward restoration, because we got a whole lot of grown up boys running around, loose on the world, loose on our women, loose on our children. We got men that are 40 and 50 and 60 years old that still think they 17 and 19 and 25, because they have arrested development. They reached a certain place and they were traumatized so bad that they never moved on from it. But this is not a place of judgment. This ain't a place where we talk down, belittle, or demean nobody. Even if you are to this day an absentee father, this the place you want to be. Cause I'm gonna walk alongside you until you become the best father that your children could have ever dreamed of. And my motto that I live by: I'm not waiting on nobody to change this. I'm not waiting on nobody to help me. I'm not waiting on nobody to save me. I have made it up in my mind. I'm going to be what I always wished for. And that's what I want for you. Join this journey, because restoration is not a destination. You don't reach it one day when you turn 25. You don't reach it one day when you make a certain amount of money. Restoration is a journey, and you become a little bit more whole every step you take. You become a little bit more healed every time you make it up in your mind to do the work and to have those hard conversations and to be in a safe space where men, women, and children can engage for the purpose of being the best versions of ourselves. Join this family. You need to go to TikTok, and you need to go to Instagram and Facebook and find us, the Road to Restoration podcast. Make sure you go, obviously, to YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, holla at me. YouTube, Steve Salsa Ministries. Make sure you turn your notifications on. But before you leave, I want you to know this: there is no value like the value of being a part of our Patreon tribe. There's so many things, so many benefits that you would gain from it. Make sure that you follow them links that's on the screen and you go check it out, because I believe that not only will you be supporting this channel will be supporting you. The greatest journey that's ever been taken started with one step. You've already taken that step. Let's take the second one together. God bless you, man. Be restored.